Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast. Today we are producing our 11s, our heroes 11s and villains 11s, because as you know, there isn't a game today. We're waiting for the all-important Rajasthan Royals versus Royal Challengers Bangalore, which is taking place tomorrow. So in the meantime, we don't want to disappoint the fans. We want to give them a quality video. That's what they asked for. So we, as you know, we've been given our heroes and villains for most of the games. And we're going to come up with an 11 for each one. And just a pre-warning, we haven't decided this yet, so this could be quite interesting. But should we just go straight into the heroes to start with?
Yeah,
because I feel like there are a lot of heroes this IPL. And if you look at the top 4 run scorers, they're all opening batsmen. So we've got Josh Butler, 718 runs, Rahul 616 runs, Quinton de Kock 508, and Shikhar Dhawan 460. So Benj, who do you think of those top 4 highest run scorers? Who would you like to see at the top of our heroes 11?
Well, I think I've got the easiest job of the whole podcast, where I'm going to place Josh Butler at number 1 in the heroes 11. There is no doubt in my mind that Josh Butler takes that spot. He's currently got the orange cap. The man's averaged 51 at a strike rate of 148. Like, there's not much more you can ask for a man opening the top of the order. Like, that is rivaling Kohli figures. So for me, Josh Butler, right up there. Any qualms from you boys? Agree, disagree?
No, not even slightly. He's been unbelievable, and he walks into that heroes 11.
Sure.
The other opener, I kind of struggle with, because I'd say Quinton de Kock's been quite inconsistent.
Yep.
I think Rahul's been a bit too slow.
And has lost games because he's gone too slow. So I agree with that.
Yeah. And Shikhar Dhawan has, again, he's been very good, but he's also been a bit inconsistent. So I'm actually going to throw out a suggestion there for the other opener. And I'd like to get your 2 opinions. I want to say Rahul Tripathi as the other opener, because I think he would have been a very good opener. I think he would have done better than Kane Williamson all season. So yeah, I'm going to throw that one out there. What do you boys think?
I suggest, seeing he didn't bat there all season, probably we go for someone else. I was actually going to go for Shikhar Dhawan, because out of, yes, Rahul and Quinton de Kock looked good at the top, but I think Shikhar Dhawan was the most consistent out of the 3. Yes, Rahul was a bit too slow at times. He did get that big century. Quinton de Kock also was 140 not out. That, like, may on what 1 year, that performance of 140 not out might have got you into that spot. But because he only averaged 36, like, he was just inconsistent. Zach, you've got the casting vote. What do you think?
Well, I'd go with Rahul. Purely from the standpoint, I could say David Warner.
No, you can't.
Because he has had a good season, but we obviously, he's just a villain. So it means he can't be put in the heroes 11. But he'd probably be the other one. But Rahul, I just think he complements Josh Butler. If this is an actual 11, having Josh Butler going at it from one end with Rahul kind of just building up for the last half of the innings at the other end, I think that would be a dangerous partnership. I think Rahul Tripathi is a bit of an outside one. Shikhar Dhawan, he's consistently been good throughout a lot of the IPL seasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Shikhar Dhawan or Rahul.
All right, we're going for Shikhar Dhawan because
let's do it.
You just don't want to go Rahul because he left Punjab.
Well, also, yeah, I don't think he's won enough games for Lucknow himself. Shikhar Dhawan, on the other hand, has.
Yeah.
Rahul Tripathi, he was a bit of an outside bet, but that's fine.
Can I put a name out for number 3?
Absolutely, you can.
Because I know the name that you're going to want to put out, but I want to say Deepak Hooda.
I would also say Deepak Hooda.
Because I think he owned that spot for LSG. And Hardik at number 4, not number 3. because he was better at number 4 than he was at number 3 this season, giving Hardick the captaincy as well. That's just my...
All right, we're rinsing through it. That's good. I agree with you, actually.
Out for debate, that's just my suggestion. I'm happy to be disagreed with.
I'd love to see my boy Rajat Patidar go in at number 3, but obviously this is just based on his incredible century in the last match, but he's not been consistent enough throughout the season to warrant that. I guess Liam Livingston is another outside bet for number 3. Thoughts on him being number 5, or is there someone who might fit that role better?
I think there are two contenders for this role. It's Livingston or Miller.
Miller, yeah. I would say that I think Livingston needs to be in there because he was so good this season. That I think, and he went in at 5. He played the finisher quite a lot. He was somebody that could slot in anywhere. So, executive decision from the board of Punjab. Liam Livingston makes it in there.
Do you think Livingston's more than just an exciting player? Because he hits the ball a long way, and I think that's what people like about watching Liam Livingston. Yeah. He's kind of a ticket player. People pay the money to see Livingston, kind of like people pay money to see Umar Malik. But at the same time, he has had a very good season. He is in the top 10 run scorers. So
he's had a very good couple of years. And finally at the IPL, he's shown that, which has been really nice to see.
He definitely makes it there, but I think he's very closely followed by David Miller purely because of how many games he won for Gujarat. Yeah. Like, Gujarat wouldn't be in the final without David Miller. So for me, he gets that spot, but I'm happy to go with the group. But also in number 5, honourable mention to Shimron Hetmeyer, who I think he actually had a good season. I would say, let's not write him off. I think he had a good season. He just didn't quite have the same one as Miller and Livingston. I think Livingston contributed with the ball as well as the bat. So that's probably why overall he pips that number 5 spot. But if it was just purely on match winning, I think Miller goes in there. But what about our wicketkeeper and our number 6?
Well, I mean, if it's going to be a wicketkeeper in number 6,
there's only one name,
isn't it?
It's DK.
Yeah, his wicket keeping itself, he's not as good with the gloves as he once was. However, it's a T20 game. We could give Josh Butler the gloves; it wouldn't matter. And if we had KL Rahul playing, he could get the gloves, and DK's done better than them. So yeah, he's fine at number 6. He's just had an incredible season. And I guess the only other person who could potentially go in that slot would be Andre Russell, based on the fact that Andre Russell's finishing has been, although it's not been up to his usual standard, he's still scored a lot of runs this season at a high strike rate. That's the way to say it, strike rate. And Andre Russell's also taken 17 wickets. He's the 12th highest wicket taker this season.
Yeah, he's been
so
good.
There is debate for Russell to fit in at that 6 or 7 spot.
Yeah, and I mean, outside shout, I would happily throw in Jitesh Sharma because he's been a revelation. But I mean,
Rishi Dhawan as well. Like,
for 1 second there, I thought you were going to say MS Dhoni. For just taking the gloves off Jadeja.
I mean, I don't think Jadeja ever had the gloves. But there we go. Okay, in at 7. What do we think, boys? Because I personally would err towards what should be an all-rounder, but he's been awful with the ball, but he's won a few games with the bat. I'd say Rahul Tewatia, potentially, because he's been a bit of a consistent hero. But I'm happy to throw this out for debate. Another honourable mention at 7 would be Shabazz Ahmed, because I think he's been class this season. But or Axar Patel. I'm just throwing out names now.
I'm going to disagree with all of them and go for Winadu Hasaranga de Silva. I think that's the right spot for him. Maybe he should be at number 8, and actually we should throw David Miller at number 6, Kartik at 7, and Hasaranga at 8, just because his bowling has been so good so far this season. I mean, if you want to give him the number 8 slot, I'm also fine with that.
Yeah, I was going to put Hasaranga at 8. But do we try and fit Miller in there? What do you think?
The other one,
I think it's too late for David Miller. Although
the
he's
other
had a
one
very
is-
good season, he would be the number 5 slot instead of
Yeah.
Livingston. And I
Yeah.
think we've chosen Livingston ahead of David Miller. But I would, based on the fact that we need an all-rounder, because Deepak Huda isn't going to do that well. Hardik, if we're basing it on this season, Hardik Pandya hasn't bowled that much due to injury.
Oh, but he's
When
been
he has
very
bowled
good
well,
when he has
he's
bowled.
been good. Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's an option. But I think Andre Russell should take the spot. Based on, I think Andre Russell's been let down by the rest of his team. That KKR haven't batted well at the top of the order, so they haven't really had that platform for him to fire. But he's still fired. He's still done incredibly well, and he's bowled very well. So I would go with Andre Russell. However, I can see why Tawati would get the spot because he scored over 200 runs at a strike rate of over 400, which is insane.
That is ridiculous.
There is one more name that I want to throw out,
Goodness me.
which I know that we're not going to be happy with, but he has bowled very well. He has batted very well, sometimes up the order. It's Ravichandran Ashwin. I know we don't want to say it, but I think Ashwin,
I think
Ashwin in
Ashwin's
partnership
class.
with Chahal has bowled fantastically. And I think he probably could go at the number 7 with Hasaranga at number 8. What do you think?
There's also Rashid Khan.
There is Rashid Khan.
For goodness sake, we've got too many players here, boys.
The dirty wrists.
Rashid Khan's dirty wrists.
Because I can see us going for both Hasaranga and probably Yuzvendra Chahal later on in this list. I'm hesitant to pick another spinner. So for that reason, I'm going to make the executive decision, go Andre Russell.
Okay, Dre Russ. We've discussed the next spot.
We've already got Hasaranga. Oh, I'm not going to type his whole name in. I'm just typing
We've also got number 11.
We need to do Hasaranga de Silva.
We've also got number 11. It has to be Chahal, doesn't it? Like we've mentioned it. The man can't bat.
Yeah,
he
he's
very
definitely.
well.
But I mean, I think I've actually got our final 3 here, boys, already.
Okay.
And you can veto any of them if you hate me, but I'm going to say our number 9 is going to be Moishan Khan.
Agree.
Our number 10 is going to be the death specialist, Arshdeep Singh. And our number 11, the best wrist spinner in the world at the moment, Yuzvendra Chahal. Feel free to disagree with me on any of them.
So there are a couple of things with the seamers that I want to shout out. And I agree with Moishan Khan, purely because on so many games we have said how well he has bowled. And he has got, for this year, the second best economy, the best economy as a seamer, only second to Sunil Narine. And he's bowled 33 overs, only gone for 197 runs, and he's taken 14 wickets. That's a good set of stats for the young man. Zach, Harshal Patel, should he be in there?
He's definitely worth a mention. He's insane at the death. He's got that knack of picking up wickets at the death. And at the moment, our death bowler is currently Andre Russell. Now, you've said Arshdeep Singh, who has had an all right season, but he's not picked up that many wickets.
Oh, but he's been the most economical at the death. That's the reason I'm saying.
He has. And I guess at the death, you need more economy than wickets, although wickets do build the pressure. It's a really difficult choice.
Harsh Patel gives you wickets and economy, whereas I think Arshdeep just gives you the economy. Like the other thing to say, the other name to mention too is also Mohammed Chadni, because he's bowled with, we haven't got a new ball bowler. Let's just think about that.
We've got Moishan Khan,
but
I guess
there's a chance that we shift everyone one up the order, drop Andre Russell, and slip Shami in there as well. That's just another shout.
No, I don't think we should.
No,
I
don't
think
think
we need
you
to keep Russell in there.
Yeah.
Russell is a death bowler.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need a bowler who can do, I guess, both ends of the innings. So I would say we've got 4 choices. We either go Arshdeep Singh for just pure death economy, but he's not going to pick up wicket. So that's his downside. Harshal Patel, who is more like a death bowler, so he's not really going to take the new ball. We then got Mohammed Chadni, who's purely a new ball bowler. But then the other one who I think we should actually go for is Avesh Khan. Now, my reason for going with Avesh Khan is because he takes wickets at all stages of the innings. In the last 2 seasons, he has taken 5 wickets in the power play stage. He's taken 5 wickets in the middle over stage, and he's taken at least 5 wickets in the death. And he's the only player in IPL history to have done that in 2 seasons, which shows how good he is at taking wickets at all stages. And I think given that, and given that we need a bit more flexibility in the bowling, I would go with Avesh Khan. That's my pitch for Avesh.
That's a strong pitch.
You know what? I've been sold. I'm happy with Avesh Khan.
You've convinced
You've sold me.
Well done.
Yeah.
Some honourable mentions, though. I do have to say, as we have mentioned them, Harsh Patel has to have a shout out. He won some games for RCB. Mohammed Shami won some games for Gujarat at the start of that innings. And also, we haven't mentioned him, but Kagiso Rabada. He is also the 3rd best wicket taker in the league.
He always takes wickets.
Very economical, and he takes wickets at all
and he
points.
took them at the top as well this season, which was really good.
Yeah, we'll have him as the 12th man.
We know our 12th Chahal. Yeah, 12th man is Rabada, and our 13th man, just for the jokes, is Umran Malik for his absolute rockets. In a few seasons when it was bowling them straight, he'll be an absolute... he'll be so good.
Well, there we go. There's our heroes 11. Villains 11 now. So opposite end of the spectrum. And I can kick things off very easily with our captain.
Yep.
And opening batsman, Kane Williamson.
Yeah, he struggled, hasn't he?
Stinker he had.
He's really struggled.
Agree 100%. No question about it. Next.
Ajinkya Rahane?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I was going to say the same person.
Rahane, I'd also say Venkatesh Iyer didn't have a great season. And there's always a shout to put David Warner just for being David Warner.
Yeah, he's a villain in his own right, really. Isn't he?
Yeah.
But
can he be the manager?
The pantomime villain.
What about we have? I'm just thinking back to the heroes. We didn't mention Tim David, but there we go.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think the management squad of the Villains 11 will be Mumbai because they dropped Tim David for the vast majority, who turned out to be the best finisher, second only to Dinesh Karthik. I
think I've got a 3 and 4 though.
Go on.
Okay.
I think Manesh Pandey.
I absolutely agree at 3. Yeah.
And Rishabh Pant.
Oh, I was going to go.
That's an interesting one.
Actually going to suggest Mayank Agarwal.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's had a stinky season.
Can I sell a pitch for Rishabh Pant?
Go on.
Okay. So Rishabh Pant, he's batted number 4 all season for Delhi. He's had one of his worst seasons in the IPL this season. And he also sent the small man with the moustache on to complain about the 6 that was a no ball. And I think that's a villainous move.
You know what? I'm genuinely sold on that one.
Yeah, me too.
Like that.
Why can't we put? I think we can have 5. Mayank at 4.
Yeah. Well, Mayank also batted at 5, and he was terrible there as well. So
I don't think Mayank had a terrible season as much as we've said.
He played 12 innings, only made 196 runs, a highest score of 52, and an average of 16.3, striking at less than 125.
It was a terrible season.
But then, you could put the entirety of the Chennai Super Kings team in there as well, and then easily fit.
In another world, we would. And don't worry, there are many Chennai players to come. But yeah, I think at 4 we go Mayank Agarwal. Oh,
okay.
No.
Mayank Agarwal.
We go for Rishabh Pant at 4.
Okay.
And Mayank Agarwal at 5 because Mayank. Oh, goodness sake.
Rishabh. Well, that's. Great.
I need to stop speaking while I'm typing. Yeah, because Mayank did bat at 5, and he was terrible there as well. So as a captain, I thought he was actually quite good.
Yeah,
I thought he was quite unselfish to put himself down the order to get Johnny Bears to win and stuff. And we know what it's like, burden of captaincy. So
I've got a 6 hands down.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with whatever you're about to say.
It has to be, and it hurts me to say it, but Ravindra Jadeja.
Ooh,
Jadu goes in at number 6.
I actually think Jadeja at 7 because I've got a better option at 6.
Are you going to put Karen Pollard there?
Karen Pollard in at 6 as he was smelly. He was awful.
And if you look at that 6 and 7, you're looking at two of the best players who have ever played in the IPL, in Karen Pollard and Ravindra Jadeja. And if you asked us at the start of the tournament, who was going to impress with the bat, we would have said Mayank Agarwal, we would have said Rishabh Pant, we would have said Ravindra Jadeja as well. And those three have all been burdened by captaincy this season.
You know what? I'm actually going to change the captain to Jadeja because he was a worse captain than Williams.
Wasn't it?
Until Dhoni had to come and step in.
Okay, so in at number 8, I think this is actually the perfect place to put Deepak Chahar's quadricep in there.
Yes, I agree. Deepak Chahar's hamstring, I think it was, or quadricep. Quadricep.
Yeah.
Because he was the villain at the very, very start of the season. I'm surprised that you haven't shifted him to 9 and put a certain West Indian all-rounder in that spot.
Odion. You know what? You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What am I playing at?
because Odion Smith.
Odion
Smith. Yeah, Odion Smith has to go in there.
James, just talk about Odion Smith's season. Just sum it up in 3 words.
Goodness sake, I can't spell. Right, Odion Smith. If he hadn't done that overthrow, right, Punjab would have qualified.
Oh wow,
that's all I want to say. If he hadn't done that overthrow, that's all I'm going to say on him. How many overseas do we have? We've got Williamson, Pollard, Smith.
I don't think it matters.
Okay, no, that's perfect because the next overseas I want to say is Christopher Henry Jordan.
Christopher Henry
Jordan. I agree.
His abysmal performance for Chennai Super Kings. He was
not been good,
awful.
It was poor.
It's not been good.
My other honourable mention for this spot as well, just for severely underperforming on what we'd expect from him, is Varun Chakravarti. Because he just did not have the season that we expect from him, that he has, that he's promised from previous seasons. So
we do need some spin in there, don't we?
He is an honourable mention for that spot, but yes, I agree. Let's put Chris Jordan there and maybe we take out Deepak Chahar's quadricep because he couldn't help it. Shift up Chris Jordan and put in Chakravarti because we haven't actually got a spinner. Because I think we all know who the number 11 is going to be. Zach?
Are you thinking Siraj?
I am thinking Siraj because
I'm also thinking Siraj.
He's had quite a poor season for his standards.
Yeah, it's not been great, but we put Chakravarti in for a spinner. So
yeah, I think Mohammed Siraj had a stinker, and he's probably like one of the first names you put on because, like, as far as his seasons go, it was such an outlier of awfulness. He was truly bad. So there we go.
He was retained.
Yeah, even worse.
There are a couple of honorable mentions for villains too. Einrich Norkir, Mukesh Chowdhury's catching ability, and that's it. That's what I've got.
Also a shout out to Prasid Krishna for bowling 3 maidens this IPL. Yeah, that's an impressive effort.
That is very impressive.
Yeah.
Well, that was it. We'll stop it there. There are the heroes and villains. Thank you very much to I believe it was Rick and Patel that asked us that question a week ago. So thank you very much. Leave your Cricket Nerds questions down below. You can like and subscribe, please. We're growing again, boys. We've got excellent growth on the horizon. We're fast approaching 320 subscribers, our next big milestone. So yeah, you can also listen to our podcast on all the major podcasting sites. So other than that, we'll see you guys tomorrow after the big game between Rajasthan and RCB.
Bye.